Now, what we're going to do here is I'm going to blow your mind. What is the square root of x squared according to what we just did?
The square root of x squared is x.
You want to think that it's x, don't you? Well, let me tell you, it's actually the absolute value of x. And I see that you guys don't believe me, so I'm going to show you with a graphic calculator. That is not what you said.
Is that the final answer? It's not equals x again? It's just x absolute value of x?
Well, let me ask you this. It depends on your input value, right? Because what if inside here it was negative 5 squared? The answer would be positive 5. It couldn't still just be negative 5, right? Now I want you to check this out.
The absolute value of 5, wouldn't it?
Right, I want you to check this out. If I do the square root of x squared on the inside like this, I want you to see what this guy looks like. Ready?
I'm ready.
What does that look like to you?
Yeah, the vertex thing.
The vertex, yeah, that's the absolute value. If this expression were to equal just x, it would have been a line, not absolute value. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh, because the absolute
You can't just say the absolute value of x is x, is it? Because this is the absolute value. And that is what x looks like. Those are not the same.
So it's a parallel.
And if you think they are the same, you need to take this class again. What?
It's a mirror image of the line. Is it like
The absolute value, as we've talked about before, is a piecewise defined function. It's y equals x on one side, and it's y equals negative x on the other side.
So it's like a mirror image.
So, this is what this guy is going to equal. Keep that in mind. So if I were to have this, the absolute value of, you know what, and there's a reason why it's a big old radical. It's all up in your face. If I have the square root of x squared plus 10x plus 25, don't do stupid stuff. Let me help you out here. Because I know what you guys want to do. Oh, so the square root of x squared is the absolute value of x. The square root of 25 is 5.
No.
Doesn't work
I
that
know
way.
what you do.
What do I do?
Factor it.
You got to factor this guy.
I just guessed that.
Yeah, how does this factor?
It's x plus 5, x plus 5.
So x plus 5 and x plus 5, do y'all agree? Well, isn't that the same as saying,
The difference of squares.
that's not the difference of squares.
Sum of squares.
That's x plus 5 squared, right?
Oh, say that.
Wait a minute, I've got the square root of a square. What does that equal?
X plus 5.
The absolute.
The absolute.
Ah, the absolute value of x plus 5. Pretty cool, huh? It's great.
And that's going to give us that triangle.
Well, it would give you an absolute value that's been shifted to the left 5 if you were to graph that.
Which is still a V in a triangle.
Oh yeah.
It's the V, the almighty V.
If I have the square root of 16x squared,
You know what? This is going to be a better test than that last one. That last was slow. This is going to be a better test. I like this stuff better.
it'll be easier for me to grade. Now, the square root of 16x squared. Go for it.
Absolute value of 4x.
Oh, ooh. You almost had me at hello.
4x.
It's the absolute value of 4x. But wait, there's more.
You say you almost had me in hello.
See, with absolute values, this is one of those properties, you guys haven't really dealt with absolute values except for just regular numbers, nothing with algebraic expressions. But this guy is the same as saying the absolute value of 4 times the absolute value of x. This only works with multiplication. This does not work, you can't split addition or subtraction this way, ever. So if I split it up this way, what does that really mean then?
4x
Not 4x, it's 4 times
times x.
the absolute value of x. See, the absolute value of x you can't take those off. But what's the absolute value of 4 since that's a real number? 4.
But you can do it with the 4. You just can't do it it's x plus 5 like it is
What?
up there.
Is
You
X is
can't
zero or
separate
it's-
it.
oh.
You don't know what it is. You don't know what x is, so you have to keep those absolute values there. Now,
Understand.
what would you guys say if I were able to tell you we don't have to worry about absolute values anymore?
I like that.
Would I get some new Twitter followers if I did that?
Yes.
All right. You're not even on Twitter. You're just saying.
I don't know.
Oh, I like to be on Twitter just so I can say I tweeted something. That makes me sound so cool. From this point
Sounds
on,
so dumb, people say that.
Exactly.
I tweeted that earlier.
from this point, we will assume. From this point, we will assume that variables represent only non-negative values. So from this point on, we're going to assume that the variables that we see aren't going to, they're not going to be negative unless stated otherwise. And if that's the case, then what that means for me is that I can say that the square root of x squared is equal to just x. That's what we can say. Because if I'm only dealing in non-negative values, the absolute values don't matter. If the only thing you plug into an absolute value is positive, you don't need the absolute values, do you? So that's what we're going to do. And that's going to make things really exciting after the break.